I'm excited to show you what is now brand new in EmpowerDB. The first thing is we've been noticing that some of you have so many different programs. So much so that these lists are getting kind of unwieldy. So now we have the option to have grouped programs. We can make program groups. How do we do that? We're going to go to Database Administration. Click on this new option for program groups. It's going to show us a list of all the program groups that we have now. We can create a new program group like that. Enter in the group name and an icon for this group. So the icons are another brand new thing that's part of EmpowerDB. We're utilizing Google's, an icon set that Google has made. And so we can do a search and say, okay, let's see what icons come up when I search for tree. And here are our options. We cannot make changes to this icon list. Again, we are using Google's list. And so their icons are their icons, and their search terms that bring up different options here, that's all their search terms. So we're not able to make any changes to that, but they're so extensive. There's so many icons, and Google's adding new ones all the time that I have a feeling you're going to find something that will match what you're trying to do and will be nice and fun. Okay, so you can add a new group like that. You can reorder the order in which these groups appear in views like this. And then also note that we're able to, this non-residential program group is grouping together lots of different programs across program type. So some are client programs, some are data form programs. So you don't have to just do the same program type in one program group. Also note that we have uncategorized programs. So this is all totally optional, but if you do go down this route, you probably want to make every single program be in a group. Otherwise, the only option is we're just going to have it be a straggler here. It's going to look a little weird. So you can come to this page and you'll see every group that currently is not in a program group and do that assigning there. Okay, so no more uncategorized programs. When we go to our programs page, we can see that we've got another new option. So we can also put icons onto the programs themselves. So I can pick from, I don't know, this icon seems to look good for me. And now when I look at my shelter program, it's got this icon. Icons are fun. In other places it will show up as well. Again, this is optional. If you feel like in this context, icons are a little bit too cluttery and you think this is cleaner, I maybe wouldn't totally disagree with you, but it's an option for you. The next thing that we can group together are point-in-time blocks of information. You'll also see point-in-time groups. That works very similarly. We can add a new point-in-time group. Maybe this can be like check-ins, and then we can do, maybe we're doing something like that for an icon. And now we can come to all of our different point in times and we can say, okay, goals, that's kind of like a daily check-in that we're going to want to do. This one is a daily check-in kind of situation. That's, you can set this up however you want. And then now these 3 point in times are in this point in time group. And the way that that looks is, let's go take a look at somebody's entry. These are all fake names, just so you know. So on the right side, we can now have these different point in times grouped together by the different categories that you create. And because we just kept seeing that your point in time lists were so big, there's now this little kind of expand collapse button to the right of here, where you can say, maybe there's certain staff that really don't need to go check out, enter in this check-in data all the time. They need to have access to it, sure, but they don't want that full list expanded to them. So they can click that button to kind of hide that full list, and it will remember, across across login that from session to session that you are one that likes to hide that list, or when I click there, it says, okay, you are not one that likes to hide that list. And yeah, so better grouping for your different point in time blocks of information with icons, which are again very fun. In the world of point in times, any kind of uncategorized point in time will fall into a block that looks like this, which is kind of like what it looked like before. I'm less encouraging of people to categorize every single point in time. It seems to me to look better to have there be some just generic points in time here. But again, you all know your systems better and your workflows and your users, and so it's up to you how you choose to group these things together. If you do want to have every point in time in its own little group, you have a very similar view to do that down here, where you can come in here and say, okay, this thing is a check-in. It's not, but you get it. Okay, next thing to talk about is program list buttons. So before, when we went to a program list, we went to control what the program lists look like for each program. You had the choice of saying, do our standard thing that we do for this program, or create my own way of looking at this program. So now you have the option of kind of creating as many different ways as you want to look, have buttons to look at your program. So you can say, I want to add a new button. That creates a new unnamed button here, and we can click on it, and it's going to open this window where we can say this button is going to be called current residence, and we want this to be doing our own standard out of the box current resident view. None of you should actually have to do this. This will come by default. You know, every new residence program will have by default one button for current residents, one button for former residents, another button for all stays, just like you're used to. But what this means is you can now stick with the standard things that you're used to, and then come through here and say, and also we want an additional button, and this thing is going to be like follow up Stu. And this is going to be an all-in-one report, and then we're going to select which all-in-one report we want to show up in this program list view. This is definitely something that would maybe be more on an advanced side of configuring the system. And so you can, if you kind of get the idea of what we're trying to say, you can message us for help, and we can work with you to build this together. Okay, so now I've made a new button that will show up when looking at this Shilter program. Let's go see what it looks like now. So we have this follow up Stu button, and then when we click here, it's going to show the all-in-one report that you specified would show up in this button view. You can also set up views that use custom reports. So instead of saying, show me, let's make this type be an all-in-one report, you could say, make it be a custom report, and then you pick from the custom report, and that would look something like this. Okay, so this is going to be super powerful and let you kind of make some really specific looking views for looking at each of your programs. I think when sometimes we get people who say, does your system offer dashboards? And I would say this is getting to where we can really make a dashboard. You can come in here and be like, show me what I need to know about the Shilter program. Here's the different buttons that show me what's going on with the Shilter program. And everybody has totally different things of what they want to see related to a Shilter program, each program. So it's customized, able to be customized for everybody. If you're making a custom report for one of these views, there is some special things you might want to do on the custom report to make it so that it can function properly with no constants, with no report criteria. So that's typically like making your constant, your start and end date constants have default dates that are date formulas. Again, if you're like, what's going on? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it. Just all that's important is that you know that cool things are possible now, and we will help you with cool things. One more thing to talk about with program lists, and that is, let's see if I can get a better view for this. on all the program list views except for our standard lists that combine families together, you now have the option of sorting and isolating the records that you want to see. This was the most voted idea in our new ideas portal, and so I'm super, super happy to make this happen for you all. So we can say, okay, show me only the ones that are in the hotel. And then now I want to sort by this one. And now I want to clear this filter. So this should be really help you kind of get at this information in a lot better way. Okay, last big update to talk to you about, and that is the permissions entry here. So all throughout the system, you'll see this kind of block, either one or two sets of questions here to help define which users have full access to this entry, to doing things here or whatever it happens to be. And full access means you can view, you can add, you can edit, and you can delete. And then you have many times a potential way to say, okay, well, beyond people who have full access, these are the people that can view only. So now we have the ability to say, I want users in the hotline program to have full access, but I want to always exclude certain groups of people. This is another idea that somebody posted in our ideas page, and I'm very thankful that somebody did that, because I've, since that was posted, have found lots of different ways that I think that this could be helpful. So maybe users in the legal user group actually, even if somebody in the legal user group is in the hotline program, we don't want them to be seeing this page. This could also be useful for times like where we say, yeah, everybody in the hotline program should be able to see it, but oops, I don't want Frances to see it because she's off in her own little world that is not related to this. This could be useful. We have lots of times people tell us that they've got a client in their system who one specific staff member should not be able to see. And you would be able to now do this where you can say all users can see this, whatever it is, but I want to always exclude one particular staff person. Okay, so that's possible for saying I want to exclude people from this list of full permissions, or it's now possible to say I want all users to view it, except users in the shelter program. Okay, so sometimes you might see the same kind of thing to say I want everybody. So this is an example of when we would see it when it's just very minimal. We don't have full and view permissions, just a one kind of, is it you or is it not you? And we can say, okay, these data completion reminders should show up for users in the hotline program, except for Florencia. Now, I'm very worried that a lot of you are going to make a big misunderstanding here and say that, oh, the hotline intake, well, the hotline intake, that should be for the hotline program, and it shouldn't be for the shelter, and it shouldn't be for all these other things, and go through and click a million times to list all the programs that it shouldn't be in. That's completely unnecessary. By just doing this, you say only hotline. You don't need to then go through and say, don't do it for the other programs. Because if you do this, let's say you did this. What this is going to do is any staff member who is in the hotline program and the shelter program, they will not be able to see this thing because you said just in the hotline and then always exclude people who are in the shelter. So this is, again, should be used in situations where you have kind of these you need to narrow down, like, okay, you've got this bigger world of hotline, but then you need to also exclude a smaller world of individual people or a smaller user group of people, things like that. One more thing about this is that I have found that database administrators of large organizations have their home pages running pretty slowly. And a lot of times it ends up because an administrator at an organization has so many different programs that they are technically in because they have to administer every program. And so they're in every program, and the system is doing the data completion reminders on their homepage for every program in your system. When administrators, a lot of you are actually not that interested in the data completion reminders on this homepage. And so it's just taking a lot of time to work through those data completion reminders when you're actually not that interested. So for administrators, if your homepage is running slowly and you don't feel like you get the most out of this data completion reminder section, try to come here and be like, okay, this is a hotline intake page. It should be reminded for users in the hotline program. I am technically in the hotline program, so I need to stay in the hotline program, but I want to take myself out of being considered, of having this data completion reminder be processed on my homepage. If you do that, you should see less data completion reminders here on your homepage. But then when you click through and you try to view how other staff's data completion reminders are doing, it will switch to understanding showing you what that staff person sees for their data completion reminder. So you'll still have this ability to check up on people. Okay, that is quite a bit. I hope that was helpful to you. Please let us know through support if you have a question about anything here, or you feel like something we've done here could be useful to you and you don't know how to make that happen. Thanks so much.